Bennett Davison with the EuroHooplife podcast, where we're specifically talking with Angelo on two Division One teams in France, and we're gonna go into details. What are the team names, and give me some background on them.
Yeah, those two teams I played for, kind of like with Levallois when I was in second division. And those two teams reached the first division now, and they've been there for the past 6 years. So they've been.
Just to cut you off, go into details. How does a Division Two team make it into Division One?
Yes, so the system, and I think it's pretty common in Europe, but the French system is that you have 18 teams in first division and 18 teams in second division. The last two teams of the first division drop to second division. Done deal. The first team in the second division, if they finish top of the league at the end of the regular season, they move up to A1, first division, Pro A, automatic bid. Then in second division, you have playoffs between the second seed and the ninth seed, teams from the second to the ninth seed, and you have regular playoffs, and whoever wins those playoffs get the second ticket for the first division.
Division Two, Italy is setup structured exactly the same. So there's always that competition to be like, hey, let's give it our best shot. And then if you don't, you drop down, you lose some of the sponsorship money and all that type of stuff.
Exactly, and it works the same way. You have a home court advantage with the higher seed you have. And so those two teams, I'll talk about the first one that is called JL Bourg. It's a team in the city of Bourg-en-Bresse, 2-hour drive from Switzerland, and 45 minutes from Lyon. That's one of the biggest cities in France. Lyon is the city where ASVEL, the EuroLeague, the French EuroLeague team plays, and Tony Parker, he's the team's president. So Bourg-en-Bresse, the reason I talk about this team and alongside the second one that I will talk about is that these are like medium level. They're fighting. They are playoff worthy, playoff bound every year. And it's interesting because they have great logistics. They're very professional. They take care of their players. They are both in cities that are involved a lot with athletics. They're ambitious. They want to get to a higher level, but they're just right in that bubble where they're not in danger of dropping league, but they're not quite yet there for a playoff contenders.
So they're going to be probably finished maybe 4th to 10th, 12th place.
Yeah, it's mostly like between 6th to 12th, 13th every year. Okay. And but I can talk about those teams because I play for them. I know the logistics. I know the presidents and the
So let's get the details on this team. What was the city like? Yeah. What was the professionalism and everything?
Yeah, definitely. So JL Bourg, as I said, close to Switzerland and Lyon. It's in the center part of France. Paris is accessible within 1 hour or less than 2 hours by train. Very easy. You have the TGV, the high-speed train that gives you access to pretty much anywhere in France. The city is small. It's not very active. You're not going to have a lot of like bars and crazy amount of restaurants. It's very cozy. It's very like much better for a family kind of setting.
Like a second or a third rate city where you have smaller, less commercial stuff.
Yes, exactly. You're gonna find everything that you could ever need, but it's just not gonna have a lot of variety.
Okay.
So,
good description.
Right, but Lyon is only 45 minutes away. So if you want to go watch movies in English, or if you want to do more shopping or anything like that, it's not like you're in the boonies, nowhere to be able to do anything. But it's going to be a good setting for you to just focus on basketball, work hard. They have a beautiful gym with a practice facility attached to it. Okay. It's one of the few teams in France that have that kind of logistics with a full weight room, sauna, jacuzzi, all of that. The logistics.
They take care of the shoes and the practice gear. They provide all that stuff.
Right. Exactly. Everything is the logistics is extremely professional.
Awesome.
Extremely professional. It's one of the very few teams, if not one of the 2 or 3 teams only in all of France that has the practice facility on the same location than the actual playing gym.
It sounds like I should have started in France because I went to Istanbul, Turkey. I had to bring my own, size 15 shoes. You can only bring like 5 or 6 pairs with you, and then you go home, and then you have to bring your practice gear and all that type of stuff. So it sounds like France has the whole
the bargaining
system set
agreement.
up.
Yeah, the bargaining agreement is that I think teams have to pay for 3 pairs of shoes for players a year.
Okay.
Been out of France for the past 3-4 seasons now, so I don't know whether the bargaining agreement has changed for the players. But no matter what, it's much different than what you can find in other countries in Europe.
So it's less chaotic. It's a great little place for players to probably start out the first 2 or 3 seasons.
You focus on basketball. They're fanatics. They love their basketball team. You're going to be the show in town. And it's a great place to be logistically, great medical staff, great practice facilities, great place to play basketball, focus, and get your money and try to improve your career.
Well, let's talk about that second team.
The second team is called Chalon-Reims, which is the union between the cities of Chalon and Reims. It's northeast of Paris. Once again, 45-minute train ride from Reims to Paris. The 2 cities are different, and it's going to be a little bit weird to you guys because you're going to do half the practicing in Chalon and half the practicing in Reims.
So how far are they apart? Because that does sound like 2 cities sharing a professional team. You think it would be like Dallas and Fort Worth where you meet in Arlington. How far apart are they?
That is exactly that. 2 cities sharing a team. So you're going to do half and half based on which city hosts your home game. You're going to do most of the practicing in that city that week, but you're still going to do the first 2 days of practicing of that week in the other city. So they'll share everything. And the 2 cities are about 35 to 40 minutes apart. So you do have some driving involved when it comes to that team. And the way they try to do it is that they do half the team lives in Chalon, half the team lives in Reims. And truthfully, Reims is the much better city, closer to Paris, better nightlife for those that want to go out. Chalon is more country. It's not the same.
It's more of a small town instead of a small city.
Yeah, but you can get a better apartment because it's cheaper. You can get bigger.
Okay.
So if you have a guy, you have and all that, Chalon is a good deal as well. So that team is ambitious. As you understood, it's a project where you have 2 cities joining forces to try to build a great basketball team. They haven't been able to make the playoffs these past few years, but they are very, very ambitious. They are very professional. They treat their players well. The logistics are great. They have a great medical staff. The coaching staff is quite solid. They've been there for the past 2-3 years. I think they're changing coach, but once again, once you're trying to get out of that bubble, you're always trying to find that person that's going to enable you to get out of that bubble. Yep. But as I've explained earlier in the previous podcast, France is a great place for you to play basketball, focus on your craft. There's a lot of traveling involved because of how spaced out the teams are and how big France is on the European scale. But you get your money, your family will be tough. And the last difference is in comparison to other countries in Europe, you get your salary in your apartment and probably the car, but the food is something that you have to do yourself.
In this city.
That's the difference in the city. Like there's no partnership with there's not a partnership with a restaurant, local restaurant, or anybody really.
Now you're saying this is in all of France, or is this Chalon-Reims?
All of France. All of France.
Okay.
That's French basketball. Your meals are not taken. They're not accounted for.
Get a cell phone. You got to pay for all the bills, entertainment, and other things of that nature.
Yes. Anything that is and actually, they could actually pay for your internet. Most teams pay for the internet of their Americans, and that's the way it's negotiated in their contracts. The only thing you have to take care of is your food, literally. But come on, we're grown men.
I know. They're paying you good, and you're doing something. You're getting paid to do something you love.
Yes,
it's outstanding. Well, let me get. Let's figure out the last two. Any last bit of words of advice for any player coming out of college, or maybe transferring from maybe in Australia to France? Last bits of information, and then we'll wrap it up with just how they can get in contact with you.
Yes, I'm very easy to reach out to on social media. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter. It's quite easy. The main thing is when you're you're fresh out of college going to Europe. If you have the opportunity to go to France, first or second division, it's a great opportunity. You just have to be very professional and understand that if you do well on that stage, it's going to open up greater doors for you. Be ready for traveling. You're going to travel by bus. In the second division, most teams are going to travel by bus, if not all teams. Even in first division, the bus is going to be one of your best friends, unless you're on one of those teams that have the budget to travel by plane all the time. Yep. But it's not everybody. It's going to be a heavy schedule because you have 18 teams in the league. Greece only has 14, for example. So, and since the country is more spread out, the traveling will take a toll on you eventually. So take care of your bodies. It's very important that the nutrition and the sleeping pattern are on par with what a professional athlete
practicing twice a day and everything pretty much consistent throughout the year.
Yes, they're going to lighten up the program with practicing when it reaches the 2/3. Like by late March, now you get less practicing.
And they're probably in the weight room and doing other physical enhancement instead of just running around the court for 2 hours.
Most definitely. So, France, at least France is a to me, the two teams that I mentioned and most teams in France are going to be part of this homogeneous league, strong, solid league where the competition is not going to be
unbalanced. You'd have three dominating teams. The other three are everyone's fighting for 4th and 5th place.
Exactly. So you're going to have to fight every single week to show what you're made of. And I think that's also one of the reasons why France is one of the most respected leagues in Europe, knowing that it's the most athletic already. The competition gives confidence to all the other teams playing for maybe greater leagues to invest in you because they understand that athletically you're up to par. And also you can play a lot of games because France has 18 teams in the league.
And you're putting in work.
So I wish you all good luck. And
Angelo, this has been an amazing little insight into your world and just actual hands-on experience through France and Greece. Thank you for your time.
You're very welcome.